Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, it's Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert, do your own research. Okay, so today I just want to review BTC USD on the daily. Right now we're seeing a potential breakout of this range that's been here. Like, price has been in this range for the last several months, all the way since May. I don't know if you can really call this a bullish market structure yet. I mean, typically price is usually in a bullish trend, a bearish trend, or a range consolidation. In my opinion, this was just like an overall range. I don't really think you can really call this a high. I mean, you could maybe make the argument that this last move right here was the last significant high that price made, and you could maybe also make the argument that this is like a higher low than what was established back in late June, right here at this low here, 28.3k or whatever it is, 28.6k. So if you want to make that argument that this was the last high in June 15th, or any of these types of moves that we saw back in mid-July, like, I don't really consider those a high. Like, as Crypto Cred says, highs and lows are very distinguishable on the chart, as you can kind of see, like, back before. Like, these were all pretty distinguishable highs that price made, and I don't really know if you can call this a high back in June, but if you do, then you can maybe make the argument this is now a bullish market structure on the daily, which would be significant because we haven't seen that since April. And again, I'm a little bit conflicted myself. I personally believe this is still just a range. I don't really think this is a bullish market structure quite yet. As I said, there's usually 3 different stages of like a market trend, and price is usually in one of those 3 stages. To me, this is still just the range. Now, with that said, I still believe that price is bullish up until 50,000. There's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, like, everybody got wiped out on this big move down. I don't really think there was enough sellers to push price down to new lows from that range. On high time frame charts, of course, like, price, like, you know, tapped these lows like quite a bit, but it never broke through. And I believe that there's just a lot more untapped liquidity up near $50,000. Volume profile shows as well that there's a lot of trading activity around 50k, which is where people like to transact. So that's like an area that, you know, I think price will go towards. After that, I actually have no idea where price is going to head after that point. I don't know if price is going to, you know, go up even higher to like 60,000, certainly possible, and then break down. Price could go up to 50,000 and then start to break down. What I kind of expected and what I was looking for, and this is for months now, honestly, like, I really thought that price was going to break up in like June, but I was like totally wrong on the timing of it. I mean, price just needed to chop around for quite a bit more time than I thought. My personal opinion, I think price goes up to like 50,000, comes back down, and then like makes some sort of like higher low on like higher time frame charts, and then like we see some sort of lower high, higher low type of you know, consolidation, and price just continues to chop around. I think that's kind of like what I'm predicting as of right now. Like, I would be surprised if price like pushes down to like the 20Ks, but I'm still holding true to that. Like, I'm still open to that idea that, you know, maybe this is still just like a bear market in general, and price goes to 50,000, you know, starts hitting some support levels, but like lower highs, and then we see like some nuke down to like $20,000. If this were to happen, then the entire market will just like obviously get destroyed. All coins will get annihilated. Even big caps will get annihilated. Uniswap shitcoins or BSC or NFTs, those will all get annihilated. That's like a doomsday scenario for me. I don't think that's what's really going to happen. Personally, I think like the midterm lows are in myself. Like, I don't think that 30K will get broken. But I really want to see the reaction to like 50,000. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So let's go to lower time frame charts. I actually think that everything looks really healthy on like an EMA standpoint on the 4-hour. As I was saying in other videos, like this 200 EMA, this red line, if there's a large gap between price and the EMA, as you can see right here, the first tap of this EMA is usually a good support or resistance level. Another example would be like the 200-day EMA for support that we saw with many altcoins. Those were really good initial buys that we saw before. And as I said before, there was a large gap between price and the EMA. Those were good support levels before, and alternatively, this is now a solid resistance area around June 15th. This was like, resistance. And as you can see, this 200 EMA on the 4-hour was, obviously EMAs are lagging. This area usually is a resistance area until you see a lot of consolidation with price. When you see consolidation with price and price or the EMA starting to flip bullish, meaning that you see these the faster EMAs starting to bullishly cross the lagging ones like the 200. So like you'll see the 50, 100 and stuff like that crossing the 200. That's usually a pretty good sign that things are looking good. And as I said before, this is the first time that we've seen this entire range that this red EMA is now flipped bullish, meaning that a price is above it. Now, we didn't really see a test of this 200 EMA. We got close to it around 37K, but as of right now, price still looks pretty good. I mean, there's still pretty good, healthy volume coming in. EMAs look strong, and in my opinion, what I said before, there is a lot of untapped liquidity higher. The 200-day EMA additionally has been flipped as well. That's another important thing to see. This red line was resistance a few times in May and in June, and then now it's flipped to support. But be careful, because during these types of interactions, you'll often see lots of flip-flopping, as you can see in 2019 and some parts of 2020. We saw that this 200 EMA was flipping support and resistance all throughout this like kind of range. So it wouldn't surprise me to see something similar to this, where you see like kind of some chop with this 200-day EMA. But for now, like it is support. So like it wouldn't surprise me to see something like this go up, go trade below the 200-day EMA, like trade here, trade above it. Something like this like would make sense to me. Now, where are we at contextually? Like, is this still like a bull market? Is it a bear market? I mean, this to me doesn't look super healthy in terms of like higher time frame charts. Like those 2 like weeks where price nuked back in May was obviously like pretty devastating. You could maybe make the argument that this is like making like a higher low, because lows take a long time to form. As I said before, like let's just look at another like Bitcoin chart here. So here's like a Coinbase chart. As you can see here, like lows take a long time to form. They'll take several weeks to develop, and really Bitcoin has kind of had this like weird dynamic where in 2017 it was massively bullish, 2018 it was massively bearish, and 2019 like had a lot of chop, but ultimately like kind of bearish, and then 2020 was just like a massive consolidation period where we just saw price do nothing for several weeks, which is why decentralized finance and altcoins did so well. But what I'm trying to say is that you'll see these lows being developed over several weeks, and they do stand out fairly clearly on the chart, in my opinion, as well. You'll see that these lows, over the course of several weeks, it takes several weeks for these lows to form. Like back in November of 2019, this low right here formed, and this took like several weeks to happen. And as you can see right now, like, this was just a consolidation chop period that we saw right here, but, this could have been like a overall higher macro low that was formed. Arguably, we haven't seen this low form since January of 2021. So yeah, maybe we're seeing like a higher low here formed from like these past lows back in January. This is kind of like a bullish hopium type of case. You would paint it like this, where it's like a low here, low here. Jeez, here we go. And this is like the high. And now you would basically look for price to do something like this, or go up in the moon. I don't think it's going to do exactly this, but this is something like this would be what your bullish case would be on higher time frame charts. But I will say the weekly does look fucking terrible. Like these two big nukes down is like not really great. So I guess we'll just see. Like as I said, I think that price is going to hit 50,000. After that, I really have no idea from that point. But I do strongly feel that 50,000 is like the next area up. And after that reaction, what's my plan from there? Like I think 50K is an okay, good initial short, but it's a bit dangerous given how long price consolidated here. So in terms of trade ideas, I'm probably not going to fade this. Like I'm not going to start shorting around 50K immediately. I'm going to look at the reactions from there, because price chopped around this area for so long that price could even, Bitcoin will always do shit that you don't really expect. It could grind all the way to 55 or 60,000 for all we know. And then like hit some sort of lower high. I don't think we just hit like all-time highs from here. Like I think that'd be pretty unlikely, but going and squeezing higher than we actually think, like the 50,000 is certainly a possibility. 50,000 is the level that I'm looking at, but I would not start immediately shorting there myself. I would look for the reaction and then kind of play it by ear. So in terms of trade ideas, I would look to see 50,000 and look at the reaction from there. Price could even go up to 57 or so and then like potentially dump. The more time that price spends in a range or consolidates, the stronger the expansion. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to buy a dip either, though. Like I don't necessarily think this is like insta buy the dip, must buy the dip territory. I don't believe that price is necessarily in like a super bullish market trend. I'm still very like cautious. So in terms of trade ideas, I'm personally not. I personally don't really know in terms of what trade ideas you can do. You could maybe just make the argument like, hey, I want to long this SR level around 42K. That's certainly like an idea that a lot of people are going to have. But for me, as I said, I'm not really quite sure on this being a totally bullish market structure quite yet. So for me personally, I'll likely look to short around like 56K if it gets there, but I want to see the reaction around 50K first. So that's kind of like my trade idea, like overall plan. Do think that it is bullish until 50,000 though. Like you could also, another trade idea, this is the obvious one, I should have just obviously said this one, is just to like wait for a breakout, retest, and go. That's like the safest trade you can take, and you could even consider taking a long right here as well. It's a little bit riskier since price hasn't necessarily broken out of the range yet, but I mean, to me, I feel pretty confident that like 50,000 is going to come, and like I'm already like pretty net long in general with like all coins and BTC as well. So those are my thoughts. I hope that BTC breaks out. 50K is my level to look for. Thanks.